right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Have we got matching mugs?
Do you know what? I haven't. I've
You
got my
had
grey
the
and white one this time.
oh
Oh,
yeah,
I've let you down. Should have
it's
got my
fine.
other mug.
It's fine.
Cheers.
Cheers to episode 1.
Episode 1 of
Yeah,
Measure and Marketing.
nice.
Doing it.
Do you want to explain why we're doing this?
Probably should, shouldn't I? If anyone
Yeah,
watching, to get
yeah,
anyone watch. Yeah. So we started catching up via Zoom. It was last year. Um, and we started having conversations. I'm trying to think when the first time we spoke.
it was when I started my business. It's 10 months ago. Can you believe that? And
Come on, girl.
I put out a post, as you do, like your launch post, and the algorithm displayed it to you.
I know something
How?
synchronized.
You
I
must
don't
follow,
know.
must have used the right hashtag. But yeah, then you commented and offered your help. And then we had a Zoom little coffee catch up. And
Yeah,
you've not been able to get rid of me ever since.
I'm not sure of you since then. Yeah, it was I remember seeing your post and just thinking, I remember when I went freelance, when I went self-employed, and I wish I'd have had someone say to me, "Do you just want like a catch up just to chat it through?" And that's what we did. And we've been doing that ever since.
Yeah.
And we hit a point where we said, we need to bottle this because actually it could be really good for a number of reasons. And we work with small business owners. So we thought, well, actually, our conversations about marketing and trends and our knowledge and our experience could really help small business owners to kind of expand their knowledge and their, refine their approach to what they do. Um, Solopreneurs needing a bit more guidance and support, and other marketers, I suppose, just wanting to broaden their knowledge and create a bit of discussion with them. So, hence the measure of marketing has come about.
And it's also good to create content in different ways. I guess we're always saying that, aren't we, to clients to try different things and push ourselves out of our comfort zone as well a little bit. And I think it's just nice sometimes as well, rather than writing it down, to actually just have the conversation and hear that conversation too. It helps me to learn from you, and hopefully it'll help other people to listen to us.
Yeah, and
You
I
know.
learned from you and the different. I think what we have in common is that we both work with small business owners,
Mm.
but whilst we don't necessarily overshare, we support each other with kind of the work that we're doing. And I certainly learned from you of different ways of doing things. And I think that can be quite freeing actually to learn of, yeah, different approaches and different ideas. And it doesn't always have to be the same way. I think that's what
Yeah,
I find refreshing.
absolutely. So how did you become a solo entrepreneur way back when? You were the pre-COVID one, so
Yeah. So I went self-employed in June 2017, and by chance, really, I had worked in various marketing and events and comms roles,
yeah.
sort of across digital learning. And I'd hit a point, the company that I was working for had just been bought out by a bigger company, and I adopted an internal marketing role to kind of help everyone get on board with the new brand and kind of move forward.
Mm.
And I struggled a little bit, I suppose, after the year of doing it. So I had an opportunity to work with um, somebody else who was a previous manager on a freelance basis. And I just saw it as a different way of getting paid. I didn't really see it as,
So
you
good.
know, yeah, people
Yeah.
were saying this is such a bold move. It's really brave. I was like, okay, all right, thank you. Didn't really cop on that, I was actually putting myself out there and going self-employed. But I've kept going, and most of my clients have worked with me for kind of 18 months to 2 years at a time, and I get them going, and I get such I don't know, I find it so rewarding to be able to help them that I don't think I could go back into an employed role now. I love what I do.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I think you are similar because your background is similar to L&D and
Yeah.
HR as well.
Yeah. So my I originally started in
Mm.
HR, learning and development, And then when I was in that learning and development role, it started to get a bit more creative. And I guess I've always been into psychology and people and like just human behavior. And I used to work for Boots UK when I was in them roles, and you could move around the business quite freely. They had a management development program, and I chose to work in the marketing team and then stayed from there. I feel really fortunate that I've had lots of opportunities to work across every element of marketing. To be honest, it started in loyalty marketing, the Advantage card, email. I worked in PR. I've worked in international roles at universities as well after there, and then brand and content. And I think for me, it was probably lockdown that got me like internally moving, because we did lots of fun and new things in lockdown when I was at the university, and I really enjoyed that like project element of it, and that just learning on your just having to learn, like you have no choice. Like I loved that, and the teams worked really differently, and it just felt really exciting. And the working from home thing, I loved it. And then when we went back, it was almost like it felt like we was going back a little bit in time, and we didn't really pick up and move forwards everything that we'd learned in lockdown. And I personally didn't want to move back into the old way of working. I've always been one of those people as well that's always asking for more work, like something more exciting, and you can't keep doing. There's a point where
That's
you
really
can't
special.
do that because there is nothing else to give you. So I moved roles then into an agency to see the other side, but I was kind of like marketing for an events agency, and just felt the same way. So me and my partner were like, okay, what can we do? What can I do? Like, if you want that uncomfortable challenge, you've got to do something differently. And it didn't take me long to make the change. I started to meet different people that were doing something similar, and yeah, I felt quite confident in it to begin with. Yeah, just took the plunge last May, so I'm coming up to a year, which is great. I've worked with so many different businesses though. Have you? Like, or are yours all the same type? Are they in the same industry or the same kind of size? Because mine are like one person businesses or very big. It's
No,
on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
mine cross over into two camps. Either small businesses of maybe 3 or 4 people,
Okay.
and they've most of them within the digital learning space within L&D. So either digital learning providers or learning consultants. So they've sort of stepped into that solopreneur field as well. So it's either 3 to 4 people in a team or one person, and the support is a little bit different. So the small businesses have needed more of a marketing service. So establishing their function and kind of monthly support, and that that can last a couple of years until it sort of outgrows the need for me, and they need a permanent marketer or they need a marketing agency. So it's very much a journey. And then the other camp is consultants or those who go out on their own, a bit like you and I. But they have limited marketing knowledge and they may have time, but they don't have that knowledge. Whereas the smaller companies don't have time, don't have resources, and don't have the marketing knowledge. So the solopreneurs sort of go on very much of a journey as well for themselves to establish themselves, and need more help with personal branding and I suppose utilising things like content marketing and social media marketing to be able to get themselves heard. But I don't work with the bigger companies that you do, the machines. That's not necessarily where I specialise. It's much more in small business marketing, knowing that budgets are tight and resources and time are tight as well.
So I do I've worked with the one person businesses, a lot of business coaches actually, which I really enjoy, and then I've worked with, who else have I worked with? And then it just tends to be like then the opposite end of the scale, where I like parachute into marketing teams. I guess it's my familiar, because I know how certain marketing teams work. I've always worked in very big marketing teams though, so it is different. These are like maybe like up to 4 people, like 3 or 4 people. But I'm finding that I'm able to help. They're looking for someone on a strategic level, so the person that's in can step away from that kind of middle ground of working, and then a bit of like developing teams and things like that within it at the same time, which is always nice.
I think that's
big projects.
That's the only probably parallel is that is when it comes to upskilling, I've been utilised to upskill a marketing team, and I think that's probably the only area where I've worked with a bigger machine or the bigger companies to be able to do that. And as you say, it allows the head of or the marketing manager to step back and focus on what they need to focus on, or vice versa, that you can account for them while they do something else.
What do you think that you've picked up the most, if your client base has been quite similar? What pattern have you seen? I guess for any small business owners that are listening now, could they recognize themselves in the things that you've seen over them years?
There is a pattern, and it's one of, well, it's mainly I've just seen a spider at the corner of my eye, which is why I've stopped talking.
Ignore it.
The pattern I've seen is a small business has gone out there and has done really well for kind of like the first couple of years, and either off referrals, word of mouth, and then they've hit a point where their efforts aren't doing enough to propel them or to generate leads or develop inquiries, and they get stuck and they go, hang on a minute, we actually don't know what we're doing now. And it's a case of structuring their marketing, so coming in more strategically and saying, okay, do you actually know who your market is? Do you know who your target audience is? Do you know who you should be talking to? And what are their challenges? How do you overcome them? What are their problems that you help solve? Because that's what marketing is. It's being able to relate a product or service to a customer in a well-informed way, so that you get across how you can help them. And I think they find that part of the work I do with them really enlightening. It's like, we never knew this. This is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then so they've then got those foundations, and then it's like, right, okay, let's look at the next 6 to 12 months. And you can't really look much further forward with a small business, because you've got to be quite agile with it. You can say, okay, well, over the next year, let's look at, what campaigns that run 2 to 3 months, what can we do to communicate and to roll out what you do to help other people. And that, I suppose, is the pattern that I see, is that people are on that journey of getting stuck, getting unstuck, and then sort of moving forward or driving forward with this more structured framework when it comes to marketing and what they say and who they're talking to. But most of them have limited resources and time to do this. So then there's a need for me to help them month to month, be it content marketing, email marketing, campaign planning. Other times it's upskilling someone else to be able to do that, so then they can run with it themselves. And it all depends on budget as well. Small businesses don't have a big budget, but that's typically the pattern. Different for solopreneurs, they need to get up and running. They've got no understanding, which is fine. You only know what you know. They need more help right from the off to actually build their function. But most of the time it's unpicking, I suppose, what someone else has done in their own effort, and structuring it a little bit more.
It's systematic, isn't it? Looking for. I recognize that as well. I think for me, I've noticed that particularly with like solo business owners, so I'd really like to build up a marketing mentorship membership. That's
say that for a couple of gins.
For people, almost like people like me, that have got another service that they are trying to push, and I started communicating that, and then realized that I can offer every Hayley.
Sorry, I have to turn my heat on.
I can offer, I can offer every system and process possible, but there was always something stopping them from executing. And it often came down to them just having a personal blocker. And I recognize this in myself, and we talk about this, don't we, is there's just some days where you can have a content plan and you've got your ideas written down because you've had some inspiration from somewhere else, but then you just frozen to the spot and you just can't post because you've been scrolling LinkedIn or you've been scrolling on Instagram. And I've realized that with some of the clients is I've got this like bank of knowledge and it can be quite strategic, and I can offer this full guidance and lay it all down, and even that is like amazing, but there's just some days I just still struggling and I just can't get it done. And I really emphasize with that and want to be able to help smaller business owners through that as well, because that's the ultimate point that will essentially bring failure, probably, because they're not recognizing how good they could be, and doing so consistently, and they're allowing kind of external things to come in at them and stop them from doing it. And I recognized it myself. I mean, I think I spoke to you about not being able, like, taking like an hour to create the most basic reel, and I should be able to like smash these out in seconds now, but it still gets me. So if you've not got that level of experience in marketing, it must be completely blinding at some point. So yeah,
I think that would be
with it.
I think that would be a really good topic to touch on, maybe in episode 2, because I think for solopreneurs, solo business owners, raising your personal brand is really important, and you do have to knock down those barriers or those blockers to be able to do it, and you can't hide behind a logo or a company brand. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Say again?
Or your LinkedIn page.
Yeah, you can't. You know, it's your profile. It's you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for small businesses as well, when you're looking at MD level or you're looking at the people that have those sales conversations, you have to raise awareness of who you are and have those conversations through content or through social media. So I reckon that'd be a really good topic for us to touch on. And I think if we can be as open and as honest as we can about how we find as solopreneurs posting to social media or developing content, it might help other people relate to those barriers.
Yeah, I've got a whole load of thought on that.
Yeah,
Into it now.
It's almost therapy, really, isn't it? When you sort of
wait that one. That's episode 2 sorted then.
That'd be episode 2 sorted. Yeah.
Nice. Well done.
You need a content plan.
Shall we leave this one here as episode?
Run out of coffee.
Have you? I'm gonna see if each episode we like have matching mugs, because I think we was close last time, weren't we? Or like who's
yeah, I did have the pizza mug and I've ruined it with our first episode. So I need to I'll fix it. I'm sorry.
This isn't mine, so oh well, that was good. I enjoyed talking to you, Hayley, so I'm excited for episode 2 as well. But hopefully that gives our audience a little oversight into what we do, why we are here as well today, why we're creating this, and hopefully they get to know us a little bit more as well.
Yeah,
to know
people
you
behind the LinkedIn
person to know.
And you. Thanks, Kelly.